Alexander, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on Bhagavad-Gita in ancient India. So I'm going to take you guys from Atlanta, Georgia, back to ancient India. So this is some background information on India. India has evolved as a distinct culture zone within Asia, very different in languages, religion, art, and population. So I wanted to start off straight with the religion. Is anyone here from India or knows anything? Oh, hello. Here we go. Buddhism, Hinduism, pretty similar. They're slightly different. I don't know all the differences between them two, but it does have an impact to the story. Bhagavad-Gita is highly influential ideas from the Mahabharata. Yeah, can you pronounce that for me?
Mahabharata.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? That's amazing. It focuses on karma. Karma is action. So the way that we are supposed to be, the human way, the behavior of humans, how they're supposed to be acting, and difficult gods that they worship. Brahma, did I say that right?
Yes.
So you can be pretty much, helping me out with pronunciation. I really appreciate that. You already got some involvement. So the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. So in Buddhism, there's only one God. They don't believe that there's a higher God over a God.
Fourth largest religion, spreading all across Asia and bits and pieces of the rest of the world. Siddhartha Gautama founded Buddhism. Siddhartha was born in India into a rich and flourishing family. Siddhartha was full with gifts and items. When he reached the age of 29, he began to recognize the different classes of humans. There was a huge separation between the poor and the rich. He saw sick, tattered, and dead people across the streets. His father kept inside his own comforting home for so long that he has never seen the outside world. After realizing this, he set off to find a world where there was no suffering or death. He tried looking, searching, and wandering for years. After many attempts, he decided to sit down by a tree and meditate. He stayed there until he thought of the meaning of life. In total, he sat there for 48 days. He soon understood the cause and the cure for the suffering that people inhabit. After his finding, he soon became Buddha, which means the enlightened one. Buddha spent the rest of his life teaching other people about life and suffering. He set out to cure anybody who's hurt or suffering. He came up with the Four Noble Truths, which included 1. All life is full of suffering, pain, and sorrow. 2. The cause of suffering is the desire for things that are really illusions, such as riches, powers, and long life. 3. The only cure for suffering is to overcome desire. 4. The way to overcome desire is to follow the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path was aimed at trying to have a life full of happiness, devotion, and pleasure. Meditation was a large part of this and was taken up very seriously. Meditations range from walking, sitting, and even talking meditation. Buddha promoted a mindful and peaceful mind 24 hours a day. Buddhism borrows many traits from Hinduism. Both religions are not exactly the same, but some things incorporate between them. Buddhism accepts the laws of moksha, karma, and dharma.
I'm going to stop right there. So you can see that they're pretty similar to each other. Karma and dharma, they're highly known for the karma is pretty much, I already went over that, is the action, and dharma is the duty, so it's a law, the way that humans are supposed to be acting. So we already have a certain law, which is not just only in Hinduism and Buddhism. There's a certain way that they want the Lord, like Lord Krishna. I'm going to go over Lord Krishna soon, how he believes that human beings are supposed to be. And that kind of follows through in pretty much any religion. There's always a certain way that we're supposed to be. So I just wanted to go over that before I went to Bhagavad-Gita. And the original text was written in Sanskrit. So this is how the original text looked like. You see, it's kind of looks like symbols, and it's pretty neat. And they have images on the top here. It's classified as scriptures, and the Vedas is the most ancient sacred writing of Hinduism, composed of in Sanskrit in India. A new system of writing was formed called Brahmi. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Scriptures. So it migrates from left to right using alphabetical letters with ink and paper. So it's pretty similar to English, left to right. And on the left-hand side, you guys can see the alphabet. So this is the new system. And over here is a coin, and it looks like there's a god and a lot of letters and symbols on that coin. The one in the textbook that I read, there's an elephant. War. This is a huge theme in this story that I'm going to be talking about. So war is a huge theme. I want you guys to bring out a piece of paper and pen, please. Pencil, whatever, doesn't matter. Use your iPad, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to answer these questions. They're pretty straightforward. It's your own opinion, so there's no right or wrong answer. And it's individual work. Take it seriously and be very honest, be very candid. Can you read me question number 1, please?
What are the first words that come to mind, what are the first words that come to your mind when you think of war?
Of war. Anyone have any answers to that? Anything? Yes, Joseph?
Conflict and suffering.
Suffering. Yes, Jessica? Death. Death. Anybody else? Weapons. Okay. Does war cause peace or destruction? Hands up if you guys think it's peace. Just put my hand down. Destruction? Oh my God.
I would have to say that it can cause both. It has the potential because if you're bringing down someone who's causing great harm to everyone, it can bring peace, but there's ultimately going to have to be destruction because wars waged by the loss of life.
I like where this is going. When is it just? Does anyone know? Yes, Tyler.
When you defend it or something.
So self-defense, right? If you get your butt whipped by something, you just gotta allow it? No? When you're 5 feet tall and you're facing someone taller than you, what are you gonna do, right? You're gonna stand back? No? Pretty much. So how can violence and killing ever be justified? Okay.
When you defend
Under what circumstances can human beings ever consider fighting against their own family, loved ones? So have you ever fought against your cousins, your mom?
No.
And it's happened. You've seen the news, like sons
Marvin
killing, mothers killing 3-year-old babies. Like it's happened. You don't even have to put your hand.
I know he's a man, but let him speak.
That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
I love it was to
Oh, I
protect your
didn't know
family.
this. Pardon? Can you repeat that, please?
I love it was to protect your family.
Okay.
Like if your mom was going to attack your little brother, don't you fight your mom to protect your little brother?
Yeah, for sure. There's
Say
certain
would you fight your
circumstances,
mom?
we don't really know that until we're in that situation. We can say it so much, but we really can't say much, right? Yes, Joseph.
I was just going to say that the circumstances for that would be that if there is a cause that is purely evil and they unfortunately align with it, and there's no way to sway them otherwise, unfortunately it would have the potential to come to that conflict.
It could be for pride.
So there's a lot of reasons, right? So do you guys think, can violence result in a non-violent society in the future? Do you think like that can ever happen? So once you start fighting, it's always going to be fighting pretty
It's a
much.
vicious circle.
Right? Because in ancient times, there was wars, and to this day, we're still having that right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge theme in this story. I just wanted to talk about that first before we got into it, to see your opinion and what your opinion is going to be after. Okay, so, oh, I love it. So, 4th century BCE, originally written in Sanskrit, philosophical poem relating to the study of fundamentals of knowledge, reality, and existence. So pretty much the knowledge of truth, the knowledge of lives, and it's realistic because it's happened back then and it's still happening to this day because it's existing. Inspiration to philosophers and men of wisdom. Does anyone know any of those kind of wise men? Anybody? Okay, anybody else? Does anyone know heard of Gandhi?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. Does anyone know Sai Baba?
No.
India. Come on, India.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like.
You're not too into that?
too into that.
See, when I was growing up, I always go into some of my friends' house because in Sri Lanka they have the same kind of similar. And I'm wondering, what is this picture that's hanged up above the door?
It's not about like Sai Baba. It's like in Muslims there are like two kind of Muslims. And
Yeah.
One Muslim has like different regions.
There's not two kinds, there's like 200
Yeah,
kinds.
there is, but like they're separated like.
Oh, here we go.
Good ones
They're
and bad
separated,
ones.
but they don't have like most of them they just go by one person. Like
Yeah.
they say, oh that's my that's my God.
So he's someone that you pretty much go to.
No.
No, well, I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general. I don't mean like
Yeah,
you're gonna go, hey, Sai Baba, can you
No.
please? No, I'm not. You know what I mean? But I just remember growing up, I never understood that. And he had a really nice afro, it was like a little bit bigger than that. And it was, and then he had this nice orange suit on. I was like, man, this guy's fresh. But I was like, I have to, show my respect whether I understood it or not. So I didn't speak Sinhalese growing up. But I like to see and go to the temples when I was growing up. Okay, so Arjan, he is the best fighter, the warrior, the chosen one, and he is the son of King Pandu. And these are the Pandavas. As you can see, the three eldest is Bhima, Yudhishthira, and Arjan. So Arjan, he's the chosen one. You can see him in the sea over here. And there are only 5 brothers. That's the Pandavas. So now here are the Kauravas, led by Duryodhana. That's good? Oh my God, I'm trying myself. So he's pretty much selfish. He's all about gambling and cheating people. And he has about 100 brothers. So he's pretty much outnumbered the Pandavas. And they're very dominant. The Bhagavad-Gita is the word of God in person. It is a divine conversation between Arjan and Lord Krishna. So here's just a better way of understanding it. The Pandavas and the Kauravas, they're paternal cousins. And you can see King Pandu is brothers with, oh man, here you go, Dhritarashtra.
Oh, they say that.
Yeah, so they're brothers, but he was born blind, so he wasn't able to fit that position. So he gave that position to Pandu, the youngest brother. And the Pandu, he passed away. He was under a curse, a love curse. He was able to love, but he wasn't able to make love. So he had 2 wives, and pretty much he couldn't do nothing to that. Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh. So he couldn't help himself, and he made love to one of his wives. And here's the trick about it. Here's the thing. He made love to her, and the person that he made love to dies with him. So that's pretty sad, but it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet thing. But anyways, he passed away and carried that on to the Pandavas. But they were too young to have that throne. So the Kauravas, they're pretty much balanced. They don't mind sharing the territory and everything, the kingdom. Everything was equal pretty much, so that they wouldn't have any conflict. But little did they know, equality amongst the kingdom is Duryodhana and his brothers was not satisfied with sharing the territory. So pretty much he's just being selfish. And they would deny the Pandavas' claim, even though that was their position. But they were able to have the territory and everything. Gambling. This is another theme in this story. Kauravas attempted various times to kill the Pandavas. They really wanted to get rid of them. They didn't want to share any of that, but they were unsuccessful. So what Duryodhana suggested was to gamble for territory and pretty much authority and power, and to assign exile. So whoever loses has to be banished for 13 years and cannot come back. And when you do come back, you're able to get your territory back. So Pandavas didn't know that he was cheating. So there's pretty much no way that they could win this game. And it turned out they lost. Not only did they lose power and authority, territory, and the Pandavas' wife. So this is the role of women in ancient India. You see on the right-hand side, this is Duryodhana, and he's claiming the wife. And the wife is shared amongst the 5 men. So I don't know if she's a player or she's balling. I don't know. In ancient Egypt, I believe it's the pharaoh that has more than one wife, main wife. But in India, it's the other way around. I don't know if that's a good thing, but hey, it's okay. So, and over here, yes, Joseph.
I was just going to say that they, usually it was because the brothers would have to take and split the territory, so there is still practice today where they'll have multiple husbands marrying one wife so that they don't end up actually splitting up the territory and eventually coming to the point where you don't have enough land to support your own family.
I never thought of it like that.